This title is narrated with virtual voice, computer-generated narration for audiobooks. Beginner's Guide to Hoodoo and Witchcraft Mastery by Layla Moon. Book 4, The Powerful Book of Protection Spells. Book 1. Hoodoo Book of Spells for Beginners. Easy and effective root work, conjuring, and protection spells for healing and prosperity. Introduction. It was during the hardest times that I discovered hoodoo and the power that this sorcery holds. I've dabbled with various spiritual practices throughout my life, but few of them have stuck with me in the way hoodoo has. Originating within the African American populations, mainly in the southern United States, hoodoo magic is a relatively new form of magic on the grand scale of time, but its impact has changed the lives of endless people across the world indefinitely. While not as popular today as it once was, hoodoo magic still plays a big part in the lives of those who practice it. Practitioners known as root workers or root doctors, but don't let this mislead you. Hoodoo is so much more than the chemistry and alchemy of roots, herbs, and spices, as you'll discover throughout this book. My personal experience awakened. I've personally been familiar with hoodoo from a young age. While my parents were Jehovah's Witnesses, it was always hoodoo magic that held a special place in my heart. Magic that interested me in a way I couldn't quite describe. My grandmother was someone who swore by it. I remember sitting and watching her create potions in her home, going out and collecting ingredients wherever she could, and playing with some of the more elaborately designed bottles and potion vials she had collected over the years. But still, I struggled to grasp hoodoo myself. Although I was introduced all those years ago, I had yet to give myself to practice and open myself up. In hindsight, I now understand it was simply that the time wasn't right. In fact, that time didn't come until around a decade ago, when I was sitting in my apartment during some of my darker days. My emotions stewed inside me despite all my tears having already flowed. I had found myself in a bad relationship, an explosively violent one. I now see my ex-partner living with his own demons, and while I'm still sure we loved each other in our own way, we weren't meant to be. Regardless, it was during one of the more intense fights I truly started to realize this for perhaps the first time. He had left our apartment and went to stay with a friend. I was left alone in my own space, hunched over at the kitchen table in the darkness, the only light coming from the street light on the other side of the street. I was lost, confused, and entirely unsure of what my future held. It was at this moment, literally sitting with my head in my hands, that the shimmers of hoodoo began to draw my attention gently. At first, I was taken a little by surprise, but this was soon replaced by feelings of intrigue and curiosity. All the little pieces of information I had discovered over the years slowly started to piece themselves together inside my mind in a way they had not done before. The curiosity seemed to consume me. I pulled out a book my grandmother had passed down to me many years before from the bookcase and flicked through the pages for an hour or so, not really sure what I was looking for. Eventually, about midway through, I came across a recipe for a portion of happiness. I laughed to myself. Could it really be that simple? I thought back to my grandmother all those years ago. I had so much love and respect for that lady in my life, so hey, if she was adamant it worked, then maybe I should be too. It took a while and a strange walk outside in the middle of the night to Bronx Park, but I managed to collect all the ingredients. I searched the apartment for bits and pieces I could use. The book was old, torn at the spine with several missing pages, but most were present. It was a book of protection spells and described roots, herbs, spices. A little under an hour later,
Para seguir escuchando este audiolibro gratuitamente, haz clic en el enlace de la descripción y podrás escucharlo completo sin coste gracias a la prueba de 30 días de Audible.